and up to half the shadow cabinet are expected to resign.
British media calls it a full-on national economic and political crisis. A political meltdown unfolding by the hour, as some shadow ministers in the main opposition Labour Party launched in effect a coup against its leader, Jeremy Corbyn. He's being blamed for a lackluster referendum campaign, not trying hard enough to convince voters to keep Britain in the EU. On Saturday, senior figures said they would bring a vote of no confidence in Corbyn's leadership. The carnage began when the Labour leader fired his shadow foreign secretary.
At this critical time for our country following the EU referendum result, we need strong and effective leadership of the Labour Party. I told Jeremy Corbyn last night that I no longer had confidence in his leadership, and he dismissed me from the shadow cabinet.
Within hours, more and more senior Labour MPs announced their resignations, saying Corbyn didn't have the capacity to, quote, shape answers the country is demanding, especially ahead of a possible general election. Prime Minister Cameron has said there won't be an EU exit until he hands over power to his successor. But the EU is demanding a quick exit. An emergency meeting of its founding 6 members ended with calls for the UK to go sooner rather than later to avoid political and economic turmoil in other member states. And now Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon says that Scottish Parliament could veto EU exit because the majority of its voters want to remain in the EU. It's not clear whether the Parliament has the power to do this.
Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain a member of the European Union. So my challenge now as First Minister is to work out how I best protect Scotland's interests.
The economic implications of Britain leaving the EU are also becoming clearer. One of the world's largest banks, the HSBC, has announced it will move 1,000 staff out of London to Paris because of Britain's EU exit. The UK employs more than 2 million people in financial services, producing 12% of the country's GDP. That's now under threat. Financial sources say other banks are considering moving their European trading desks out of London to places like Paris, Madrid, or Frankfurt. And predictions say the pound could fall 30% in a divorce which is proving more messy and costly than anyone imagined. Dana Lewis, TRT World, London.